One of the motivators for me to quit drinking was definitely my mental health. Before alcohol, I was someone who maybe would struggle with anxiety here and there, never dealt with depression. I was always a very motivated person, a very goal oriented person. I was an early riser, up and at 'em, ready to take on the day. I was dependable, I was reliable, and I always wanted to do my best. I wasn't satisfied with just half-assing things. In some ways, as I look back, I can definitely see where I was an overachiever. But overall, I would say I was someone who had decent mental health. Like there wasn't any major issues. But once the drinking took over, my mental health took a turn for the worst. And I had experienced depression for the first time in my life. I started to see where I wasn't motivated anymore. I didn't have energy anymore. I just wanted to limp through the day or get through the day as best as I could so I could drink. The alcohol had completely taken over, and my one goal every single day was to drink alcohol. But I was definitely high functioning. So on the outside, I made it look like I had it all together. If you would have looked at me or met me during that time, you wouldn't have known that my mental health was in the state that it was. I was good at hiding it, and also I still had that overachiever in me. But it did get to a place where I could no longer function at the level that I had been able to function at. That constant cycle of defeat that I lived in and day out, promising myself I wasn't going to drink, promising myself I was going to change, and that would never happen, and I would end up drinking. And that constant defeat over and over again, it did a number on my confidence, my sense of self-worth, and it just left me feeling even more overwhelmed, more depressed, and even more anxious. And my mental health had gotten to a place where it actually scared me because for a while I was drinking, I could see where it was declining, and I would try to do things to make it better. But of course, the alcohol would come in and cancel out all of that. But then I got to a place where I just didn't care anymore. It was the ultimate just F it attitude. This is how it is. This is how it's going to be. I felt completely hopeless. I could never, I can't ever change. I can't ever quit drinking. I've tried a million times. This is just how my life is. And alcohol is the only good thing I have in it, because alcohol was my best friend, because it gave me a slight momentary relief from all that. And that was a scary place to be in because, as I described how I was before, I was not that type of person. That's not how my DNA was. I was absolutely hopeless. There was no meaning in anything for me. And in the summer of 2022, when I was in the midst of all that, that's when my For You page started filling up with sober content. And it gave me a slight hope that maybe if these people could quit drinking, the stories that I was able to relate to, maybe I could quit drinking. And out of that desperation and going from totally hopeless to maybe a tiny bit of hope, I committed to 30 days of sobriety. And in those 30 days, I started to see where my mental health got a little bit better, and it was enough to keep me going.